everyone, it's Lacey here and I'm back again for another video. I know it's kind of strange that I'm sitting on the floor, but this is just where I'm more comfortable right now. It's been a long it's been a long week and my desk chair is just very rigid. It's very stylish and sleek and I like that about it, but it's definitely not your steel case Leap, so it's not the most ergonomic or plush. But anyways, in today's video, I'll be talking about self-respect and dating. And I know this topic might seem kind of cliche or self-evident, but I think there's a lot to be said for it. And I'm going to actually share some insights and experiences with you as well. So I'll get right into this topic. Firstly, I think it's very important not to compromise on the important things in a relationship. And really what I mean by this is, not compromising on your life and dating goals. So if you're really looking for marriage, for instance, or you're really looking for a long-term committed relationship, I think it's important not to budge on that. And I think what I'm seeing in society is a lot of individuals who think that they can work backwards and think that that will ultimately bring them to the place where they aspire to be in. So for instance, some women I think maybe do hookups even though it's not really what they're wanting out of a relationship, or that's not really what they want from men. But they do that in the hopes of maybe getting a man, like getting a boyfriend. And it's kind of like, I'm seeing this in society where some people don't know how to go about getting into a relationship. And I can't say, I know how to get into a relationship or that I'm an expert or anything like that. Definitely, I think it's very hard for everyone. But I'm seeing a lot of that where I think people don't exactly know how to go about relationships. So they're going to the most obvious sort of venues like clubs, for instance, and they're drinking, they're dancing, they're kind of hooking up in the hopes of getting a girlfriend or getting a boyfriend. And some people I've even heard, have matched on Tinder and, kind of gone that route, and it doesn't have the best reputation, but then, somehow they're married. And that surprises me because, again, Tinder is known for its kind of hookup-like culture. So anyway, yeah, so I think it's very important not to compromise in the important things in dating, because you can really stay in relationships that aren't going anywhere. Or you can really, I think, settle for less than what you deserve and fool yourself into thinking that something might come of nothing, I guess. Or kind of wait too long or face disappointment, right? Gradual or instantaneous. Like really, it depends on the situation. So I'm thinking like it's an important thing not to expect to end up in the place you want to be, but make that, a goal from the beginning and not compromise on what you're looking for, because I do believe that love and commitment are choices. And yeah, it doesn't mean like, oh, you can just, find anyone, they can be your soulmate. Like, I personally don't adopt that viewpoint, but I am of the opinion that you could make it work with anyone that you have chemistry and connection with who shares your life and dating goals, right? So who shares your vision for the future. And yeah, I found myself too in relationships where I was always questioning where we stood, and it felt very unclear to me, right, what I meant to the other person. And I was just thinking, okay, I'm supposed to give it time, like this and that. But at the end of the day, if someone wants you, they will actively pursue you and they will make you their own. They will propose to you. I've seen a lot of marriages take place within only 1 to 2 months, or proposals, I should say, right, that did lead to marriage. And so I think it's really, really important not to compromise on these. And another friend of mine I'm thinking of actually talked about how when she first met her now husband, there was some confusion as to where they stood. And she really had to ask him, like, what do I mean to you? Like, what is this? And that conversation was essential. And I think that sometimes, it goes south. It doesn't go in the direction you're hoping for. It puts the other person in a very uncomfortable position because maybe they don't know what they want or what they're looking for. Maybe they don't want to tell you that you're not right for them or something like that. So anyways, number one, I would just say do not compromise on the important things, because at the end of the day, you know, you might be waiting 10 years to get a ring on your finger, or, you know, you might go through those 10 years and find out that the other person doesn't want kids, or, you know, they don't want to be with you. Like, you know, they want to focus on something else. So, I think that is just something really important to take into consideration. Another thing, number two, that I wanted to mention was about men putting women on their shelf. And this goes for men as well. Like, you know, women putting men on their shelf. So really, don't fool yourself into thinking that you're an option for someone who kind of says, well, you know, maybe we could work out. Because I've heard that before and it's never worked out. So in the two instances that I can recall in my own dating history where I encountered this, there were people that I wasn't super serious about. Like, the first person was somebody that I thought was nice and I liked that he was Christian, but he really wanted to control me and to, I guess, kind of make me into a different person. Like, he didn't like the energetic side of me. He wanted me to be always calm and, you know, always kind of monotone in terms of personality like he was, right? Like, he didn't get overly excited about anything, and he just thought that that was abnormal. So anyways, this person did try to control me, and they weren't successful because I didn't allow them to. And, you know, we did have some good conversations in that. He was very intellectual, but I knew from the very beginning that this wasn't somebody that I could see myself with. So when he was trying to pursue me as a girlfriend in the beginning, I really didn't take well to it and kind of was trying to talk him out of, you know, wanting that with me. And yeah, fortunately, I think it was for the best. He is married now and he has a child, and I'm really happy he's found someone. What I'm recalling with this person is just kind of how they wanted to put me on their shelf, right? Like saying, oh, well, maybe we could work out. Like, you know, maybe Lacey, you know, I don't know. Like, maybe we could be. Like, that was something he was always saying to me about, like, you know, maybe we could be a couple or maybe this. But at the same time, I do know that I wasn't his first priority. I wasn't his favorite book, so to speak. So I was just another part of his, you know, collection or whatever you would call it. And I'm not saying you can't have more than one favorite book. I'm just saying that monogamous marriage, it is one person. And so, yeah, definitely it wasn't a good feeling. But again, I didn't want him. But regardless, right, me kind of putting up with that, even as a so-called friend or whatever friend of sorts, it was very strange for me to hear him say, like, he kind of wanted me, or maybe we could be, right? And at the same time, I wasn't his number one. So anyway, whenever someone puts you on their shelf, don't allow it. It's best to terminate all contact. And it's not because you hate the person, it's just because you respect yourself and you deserve better. More recently, it was in like the last few months, I was talking with someone from the States on one dating site, and then we took our conversation to Skype, and we had these chats that were like very intellectual and engaging and funny, but I'm not really sure how I felt about the person. I mean, I thought in terms of attraction, like, okay, you know, I wasn't really thinking about that, to be honest, like with him, so that might have been problematic, but I did think that he was humorous and intellectual, and yeah, he was very nice. But what I realized over time was that he to had these plans to kind of put me on his shelf because he wanted to reconnect with his ex-fiance. And, well, I'm glad that he shared earlier than later. I did find out after, you know, maybe, I don't know, I guess at least a month of chatting. So we'd already established, you know, some sort of a connection, and I was really disappointed that he hadn't really been honest and upfront from the beginning, because he's kind of saying, oh, well, I just created my profile, but I wasn't really, you know, thinking I would meet anyone. It's like, well, what do you think? You know, this is online. So, yeah, I tried hard initially to see if there was something there and like really give it time. But ultimately he told me that he was still in love with his ex-fiance, and I didn't get angry. I was very understanding, it was very nice. I wished him all the best and I did mean it, but for myself, I kind of felt hurt and that like I needed to have more self-respect than to allow somebody to say, oh, well, you know, this is a date that we planned on reconnecting, but let's see, you know, and by September, you know, by this date, like I'll see if like this person is going to pursue their career, or if they're, because of their grades, not going to be able to go on to the next level, so that, you know, that we can just pursue our family life together. So I think, you know, don't allow yourself to be put on a shelf, because again, you deserve better. And then a third thing that comes to mind with regard to self-respect in dating is in terms of some men that I've talked with, you know, they've made an effort to connect with me over the phone. However, they've kind of fit me into their spare time, right? And one conversation really stands out to me, and it was basically where a man, I think he was a dentist if I recall correctly, but he was telling me that, you know, he would give me a call and he was between appointments and he literally had 5 minutes, like he was going from work to the haircut. And he's like, oh, let me just call you back. And then he called me like on his way from the haircut to apparently salvage like the hairdresser's tooth or something like that. Like it was unexpected after hours business. I'm not sure if he was trying to like get out of the conversation. I mean, I'd rather someone just be honest, like, look, you know, I don't think this is, you know, really, you know, I don't think we really have a connection, you know, would you mind if we just called it quits or something? Like, I'd rather someone be upfront but polite about it than kind of feign interest. And so with this particular individual, I really felt disrespected because it was kind of like fitting me into these chunks of time. I'm just like the driving, I don't deserve, in his mind, you know, anything more than that. Like, I'm not entitled to 10 or 15 minutes of time where I can sit down and really, you know, listen to what I have to say and assess whether or not we're a good match for one another. So, I mean, don't put up with them. Those are kind of three things about self-respect in dating, and I'm sure there are other points as well that, you know, can be made, but those are three that really stand out to me, and I'd love to hear from you what you think are things that have to do with self-respect in dating, and not you can relate to some of these points that I've made. So until next time, farewell, and thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe and like my channel and comment below as usual. Bye.